So this year, Reconciliation Day comes on the back of riots and looting in July. Racial tensions led to deaths in KZN. Now, with a court decision on former President Jacob Zuma's parole, there are fears of more violence. eNCA's Siphamandla Goge is speaking to the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. He joins me now. Siphamandla, good afternoon. With the benefit of hindsight following the first incarceration of the former president, is the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal looking to perhaps engage his supporters differently in an effort to dissuade them from embarking on any sort of program of anarchy as a form of registering their discontent?
For now, the only official comment we've got from the ANC is from Siphamandla Goge, who's the chairperson of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, not saying much really. A few minutes ago, we spoke to him here in eNCA, where we are commemorating this Reconciliation Day. He said to us, well, they are concerned following the judgment. It's something that he has said before following the July unrest, that they were caught ill-prepared for the July unrest. Now, with yesterday's judgment, he says, well, as the provincial government, he was speaking in his capacity as the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, but also remember, he's the chairperson of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. So he says they are concerned about what is going on following that judgment, and he says they support the decision of the Department of Correctional Services to appeal that judgment. Also, former President Jacob Zuma is appealing the judgment. So that's the only thing we got from Siphamandla Goge, both in his capacity as the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, who was at the forefront of trying to quell the July unrest, but also very much disappointed with lack of intelligence prior to the July unrest. So this time around, it appears that provincial top brass are doing all they can to engage with security agencies and security top brass to try and avert any negative eventuality or any violence that might erupt following that judgment. But of course, former President Jacob Zuma still has time, because he has decided to appeal that judgment. The Department of Correctional Services is also appealing. So for now, it appears as if ANC leaders in KwaZulu-Natal have taken a decision to say they support the appeals processes, but at the same time they are monitoring the situation very closely together with the provincial government, which is led by the ANC.
If we had to confine ourselves to the political party for a moment, will the PEC be visiting Ngamalala for that infamous tea that doubles as an opportunity to offer him some sort of advice on this fresh legal battle? Are they planning to visit him?
Nothing confirmed, but I know that they are engaging with him. In fact, yesterday, some leaders of the ANC, in the top 5 of the ANC, they were planning to give him a call. Remember, yesterday, when the judgment was handed down, the ANC's Provincial Executive Committee in KwaZulu-Natal was meeting in Ladysmith. That meeting had got nothing to do with the former president. It was an ordinary PEC meeting, which was basically analyzing and unpacking the performance of the ANC during the recently held local government elections. The party lost many municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal, which saw the re-emergence of the IFP taking control of strategic districts, including Uthugela district in Ladysmith, whereby the PEC of the ANC was meeting. The ANC in that district of Uthugela lost all local municipalities to the IFP. So yesterday's PEC meeting deliberated on 2 issues mainly. It's the issue of the performance of the party in the local government elections and the issue of the upcoming regional conferences. There are 3 regional conferences that are set to be convened this coming weekend in KwaZulu-Natal, and one of those is the second biggest and most influential region, which is Moses Mabhida in Pietermaritzburg, known as the stronghold of former President Jacob Zuma, having been led by his political allies there, including his relatives. And another region that is set for the elective conference this coming weekend in KwaZulu-Natal is Josiah Gumede, which is also very strategic, and General Kizenga, which encompasses areas such as Guaduguza. So the PEC was seized with those matters, but we understand that unofficially some members of the ANC in the top leadership of the province did discuss the issue of former President Jacob Zuma and the judgment, even though they didn't have enough time because they were busy with that PEC meeting. And after the meeting, some of them were able to put through some calls calls to the former president to try and get a sense, we are told, of his attitude towards the judgment. But we do know that his attitude is that he had instructed his lawyers yesterday to file a notice to appeal this. So it seems as if there are those back-to-back or behind-the-scenes consultations in trying to assess how to deal with this matter. In the past, the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal has been accused of missing in action and has been accused of abandoning former President Jacob Zuma, something that Siphamandla, as the chairperson of the ANC in the province, and Provincial Secretary Mdumiseni Ntuli have denied.
Yes, and particularly those two that you mentioned, the chairperson and the secretary, were accused, number one and two, by some of the former president's supporters who felt that there was some sort of divisions within the PEC, where there were those that sympathized with his plight, while others, particularly the chairperson and the secretary, were somewhat indifferent or in the middle when it came to issues about the former president. Are you getting a sense this time that they are united in at least appreciating the extent of damage that can be done by these supporters if they are not brought into the fold and maybe spoken to, like I said, dissuaded to act in some form of anarchy, to conduct some sort of anarchy in the country? Are they united in that respect to say we need to engage them, whatever the outcome in court?
So far, it would appear that they are trying to do what is known in the ANC circles as closing ranks. They are trying to be seen to be painting a picture of a united front. I think they have learned from the previous episode just before the July unrest that those mixed messages that were out there and the perception that the provincial executive had abandoned former President Jacob Zuma, they have tried hard to deal with that. Even on the eve of former President Jacob Zuma, by the way, handing himself over to authorities for incarceration, the provincial secretary of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, Mdumiseni Ntuli, and chairperson Siphamandla visited the former president. If my memory serves me well, one of the PEC members who visited the former president was Nomagugu Smelane Zulu, who is the deputy chairperson of the ANC Women's League in KwaZulu-Natal, currently serving as the health MEC in the province. So former President Jacob Zuma is still very much a dominant political player in KwaZulu-Natal. It's in the best interest of the ANC leadership in the province to address whatever concerns that his supporters may have in one voice, because divisions are clear and visible. The provincial executive and leadership is trying hard to be seen to be supporting him. But yesterday I interviewed Ntando Kuzwayo, who speaks on behalf of some of ANC branches in eThekwini. eThekwini region is the ANC's biggest region countrywide. It's got about 110 branches. Most of them are said to be supporting former President Jacob Zuma. Few weeks ago, in fact a week ago, some of the councillors from eThekwini went to Nkandla to see former President Jacob Zuma to thank him, among other things, for saving the only metro for the ANC. So Ntando Kuzwayo, who speaks on behalf of those branches of the ANC who support the former president, told me yesterday on record that they would want to see the ANC leadership in the province taking a firm stance in support of former President Jacob Zuma. And he said to me, if I were to quote him, I hope they will do the right thing this time around. That tells you that some supporters of former President Jacob Zuma are not convinced that the ANC leadership in KwaZulu-Natal is fully behind him, even though they've repeatedly told us that they are behind him.
No, something is most certainly brewing there in KZN, but thank you very much. We'll leave it there for now. Siphamandla, that's eNCA senior reporter Siphamandla Goge, who's following that story for us.